Did your lyrics change very much in 10, 15 years?
Yeah, my lyrics changed in that.
Could you have written what you've done here 10 years ago?
I couldn't have written. No, let me start this one. This lyrically, this album is for the times right now. I could have written something maybe similar, but not as cohesive, and the flows wouldn't be the way they sound now, and even the metaphors and stuff that I use, all of that has to do with where I'm at now, and where I'm at now with super producer Solar as my producer. So, you know, definitely you have, like I said, Guru has certain themes that he covers. And, you know, so you'll see parallels in all my lyrics from all my works, but at the same time, you'll see a lot of new elements in this that are spawned by where I'm at in life, and also my partnership with the super producer Solar.
Yeah. Back to the Future, the title. Is there an idea behind that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that was an idea that was brought up, you know, we discussed it, and, you know, it was something that I felt definitely was a great tag for the album. It just because the way the album evolved, you know, just so that the listeners or your viewers will know if you don't edit this out, and that when he asked me to do the album, what I said to him was, I don't know. Because bringing a fresh 4 after 3 and such a powerful statement that 3 made, I didn't know if I could do it, and I didn't, you know, quite possibly know if anybody could do it, if it could be done. You know what I mean? So we sat down and we discussed the 3 that's been done. We studied them. We discussed the strengths and weaknesses. And at that point, I said, that's good, but I don't have an album. I just have a best of the 3. All right? I was like, let's take a break from each other. Just give me some time and let me see if I can find the album. And what I did is I went back into the archives of jazz. What was jazz? What originally was the foundation of jazz musicians? And what I found was unique parallels between the invention or the birth of jazz and the birth of hip hop. They both started in New York. They both started with a core of African people, black people. You know, in jazz, they came from the South under oppressive conditions to the North, looking for freedom and better opportunities. And part of that was musical freedom, because they didn't have to sing the Negro hymns anymore, so they could start experimenting. That came in with Afro-Caribbean cats from the Caribbean Africans from Africa with the rhythms, and that coupled with white people that were classically trained in American from Europe, and they formed their own little subculture underneath the culture, the larger culture, and it became a very underground type music. It wasn't being played on the radio. There wasn't any real big money in it, but there was a culture, and they loved it, and they got down with it. And here in Amsterdam, a notable point is that they smoked weed just like today's hip hop is, you know, like the Hit the Chronics. So the parallels were there. That gave me inspiration to look further, and as I looked further, I saw that the musical origins of jazz was being heard again in records that was being sampled by hip-hop artists, and that there was a reason for that, because it's a root. And jazz is essentially, I will say on record, the father of all modern music that we have since. In one way, shape, or another, it spawned every other music, or was a stepping stone to get to those other musics. So once that was done, I had the inspiration for the album, and I could frame it. And once the framework came in, then of course, like any great artist, who saw the framework of the album and just filled it in. Almost like, you know, here's most of the painting, and you just put in, you know, the colors and make it sonically what it has to be. And that's when we just started creating, and we did 40 songs for the album, and then narrowed it down to 16 that made it to the actual, you know, physical final album.